Representing the business of boxing, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Manager Marty!
Thank you. You're far too kind. Thank you very much.
Representing the business of boxing, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Manager Marty!
Thank you. You're far too kind. Thank you very much.
Representing the business of boxing, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Manager Marty!
Thank you. You're far too kind. Thank you very much.
Representing the business of boxing, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Manager Marty!
Thank you. You're far too kind. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, members of the Roll the Tape film crew, welcome to another episode of Roll the Tape podcast with Manager Marty. I'm your host, Manager Marty. We are here live in living color. I want to welcome each and every last one of you that are here joining us live today. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with me. I also want to welcome each and every one of you who are watching the replay of this live. Feel free to engage in the chat right here live, and also feel free to engage in the comment section below. We have not only a fun-filled show today, but all week long. We're going to have fun all week long this week, and we're going to identify some controversies and suspicions that many people may have for some boxers, male and female. We're going to deal with that all this week. Of course, we're going to publish other content on the channel. But also, we have to deal with this because I am officially now an anti-doping advocate. I think many of you know that thus far, looking at all of the content that I published from, let's go back October. I think that's appropriate. Between September and October. But really, we got to go back before that. All right. How about this? How about we go back from August? Yeah, how about we do that? From August of 2023 to January of 2025, nearly 1 year and a half, I have been an anti-doping advocate. Oh, yes, I have. Everybody knows that I advocate for clean sport. That at this point, there is no secret about it. Everyone knows that I've conducted nearly 15 years of painstaking research on anti-doping and sports as a whole, but also in the sport that we all love, the sport of boxing. Okay? And I decided to come and spoon feed you slice after slice after slice, half the slice of this extra large pizza of anti-doping and doping in the sport of boxing. And here's the great thing about it, because people are waiting to criticize me. People are waiting to insult me. People are waiting to undermine my credibility. People are waiting to dismiss my credentials. They're waiting to do it. Some people have already done it. And so the thing about it is, while they're waiting, we're working. You see that? I've already put the work in, ladies and gentlemen. I've already put the work in, members of the jury. I've already put the work in, members of the Roll the Tape film crew. We need answers. And so today we have to deal with the darling of women's boxing. Which I thought I forgot about this. I think some people thought that I wasn't going to speak on this. Now, I spoke on it when the news reports first circulated, starting with ESPN in 2023. I spoke on it. Go back and look. Go back and look on my channels for some of you that don't believe. Big Rob Gunn, you know I am. And so now that I spoke on it the first time, most people didn't want to hear it. I got to spin the block because now I have to present my evidence of why I believe Alycia Baumgardner is suspicious. But before I do that, it's 2025, and y'all know how I roll. And what I mean by that is I show my face. You know, I show my face. And so I'm excited to be here this morning. Hey, I'm going to be here tomorrow morning too, because we have another fighter that we're going to deal with. Matter of fact, all week, I'm going to give you the lineup. Now, this might not be in this order, but because y'all are here live, I'm going to give you the lineup today. All week long, we're going to talk about Caleb Plant. Okay? He might be in the video tomorrow. He might be in that live tomorrow. We're going to deal with him. We're going to deal with Tyson Fury. We're going to deal with him. David Benavidez. We're going to deal with him. Artur Beterbiev or Beterbiev. I don't know how to properly pronounce his last name. We're going to deal with him. Now, we done already dealt with Clarissa Shields this year. And I'm still waiting for her to say my name because I want to ask her something. See, when they say my name, that's good. Because what it does is it's opening the door for me to come ask them one question. You know, I only got one. I told y'all in 2025, I'm condensing my questions with one. You know, all 2023, I was asking the same question. Couldn't get it answered. 2024, asking the same questions. Couldn't get them answered. So now in 2025, we're going to ask a different question, but it's only going to be one. I just want to know the answers to it. That's all. Now, let's get down to what you came here for. I want to tell you right now that I have some of the best supporters in the YouTube boxing community. I really do. I mean, I always try to emphasize the detractors and the haters and the spies that insult me. I emphasize that, and really I do that for entertainment purposes. But in all reality, I want to spotlight more of the positive feedback that I receive. And that's one of the reasons why I will interrupt my show for all the ladies. I'm the only one on YouTube that does it. I acknowledge them publicly because they help contribute to this channel. Whether it be engaging in the chat, whether it be contributing their financial resources, or whether it be contributing the most valuable asset that we all possess, and that's time. But I also want to acknowledge people that are in the chat who are members of the channel and supervisors of the Roll the Tape film crew. So let me do that right now. Double salute to my guy, one of my day one supporters. All things, he's in the chat. Double salute to my guy. He's like family to me, representing Florida. This is like family to me. My guy Lump coming through with the financial contribution and support to the channel. Always been a day one supporter. Always standing 10 toes down. So double salute again to my guy Lump. Right from the heart, my guy. Thank you for your contribution, Lump. Also, my guy, double salute, Jeremy Austin. In the chat, he's a member of the channel, supervisor of the Roll to Tape film crew. Double salute to my other guy. He's also like family. Day one supporter from the heart. He know how I get down. Lucky McKinnels is here. What's going on with you? Double salute to my guy, Andre Smith, member of the channel, supervisor of the Roll to Tape film crew, and so is Lucky too. He's also a supervisor of the Roll to Tape film crew. Man, I got everybody in the chat. One Sexy T is here this morning. I got everybody in the chat, man. Steve is here, man. The People's Perspective Uncut is here. Brian, I got to put him on the screen because that's my bull. That's my bull, Brian King. Hey, Brian, I got to give you your flowers while you're here, and I promise y'all we're going to start with the show. But I'm in the presence of family all week. You know what I mean? Brian, right? He has dubbed me Kendrick Lamar T. And then yesterday in the chat, he also coined my new nickname, or one of my many nicknames, Walmarty. WAL-MART. Make sure you put the Y at the end. Because you know I'm the manager at Walmart. Y'all know I'm the manager at Target. And guess what? Tomorrow, when this snowstorm stops, I'm going to go in and put my application in to become the manager at Chick-fil-A. I was about to say Chili's, but they got enough managers. I got to go where the money's at. Chick-fil-A, Walmart, and Target. Can y'all imagine me managing 3 different stores at the same time? Man, oh man, double salute to my guy. I like this guy too. That's my boy. Mike Dangerfield in the chat. He's a member of the channel, supervisor of the Roll to Tape film crew. And I got a double salute. Pete Flame. Pete Flame in the building. He representing Columbus. 614 stand up. You have a man of integrity as a resident. All right, enough with the hugs, handshakes, and Valentine's Day cards. Let's get down to this. I know what you came here for. Because when Ryan Garcia tested positive for Ostarine, I mean, we had everybody talking about it. I mean, we had people that barely speak in public speak on Ryan Garcia testing positive. But it was one woman that tested positive for a banned substance. And some people, I'm not accusing everybody of doing this, but just some people. I mean, you all know who they are. I don't know all of them, but a few, like a handful. All right, let me condense it. You know, a handful of people, they were scared to speak on Alycia Baumgardner. They didn't want to associate her with having a positive test of using performance-enhancing drugs. They didn't want to do it, so they didn't speak on it, some people. Some people did speak on it on YouTube, but you know what they were doing? They were tiptoeing around it. Yeah, they were crip walking. They was crip walking around it, dancing, tiptoeing around the subject. They didn't want to speak on the darling of women's boxing. But y'all know how I am. I don't have any picks. I deal with truth. But you know I have to deal with the spies, the detractors, the haters of not just me, but the haters of you, the Roll to Tape film crew, the haters of this channel. I got to deal with them. And the way that I deal with them, I don't get angry. All I do is I post the evidence on the screen. That's always my rebuttal. That's always going to be my response. It's only going to be 2 things. Either I'm going to ask a question, most of the time it doesn't get answered, or I'm just going to put the evidence on the screen. That's it. That's all the 2 things I'm going to do. I mean, there's no point of going back and forth when I put something out and then somebody, you know, diss me or insult me, I just respond by asking them a question. Like the video I published about an hour and a half ago. You know, YouTube ain't pushing it out like they don't push out most of my content. We already know I'm shadow banned, but that's okay. We still gonna continue to work hard and put the information out to educate and entertain you all, right? And people can discredit me all they want, but I'm an anti-doping advocate, okay? And guess what? In about, I'm gonna say 90 days. Give me about 90. Give me about at least 90 by I'm gonna say by end of April, May. I'm gonna prove with evidence that I'm an anti-doping advocate. Yeah, I'm about to get my credentials and everything. Y'all just wait. I'm going to come spin the block, okay? But the point I'm trying to get at is you got people like a video I posted earlier. It was an extract. It was an extract of the live that I did yesterday. Some of you were here and some of you may not have been, where, you know, I can come out with evidence or proof of my credentials. And most of you know that I am licensed in many states as a professional boxing manager. I'm licensed now as a sports ring announcer. You know, I'm also certified as a credit counselor. I've been that for about almost 8 years, and I've basically owned and operated my own business with that certification, and of course, as a credit counselor, and also I'm certified as a tax practitioner. Most of you may not know all of these things, but the reason why I'm bringing it up is because when I speak on something that pertains to my expertise, I have to have some sort of credentials to back up my credibility, right? And so you have people that don't have any credentials, but they have the credibility. Like the video I published just earlier this morning, about an hour and a half ago, the extract of the live, many of you were here yesterday, where people give credence to everything Victor Conti says and does when he doesn't have the credentials as a licensed or board certified medical physician or doctor. You know, when he's interpreting these fighters' blood, you know, when he's giving them recommendations, because that's what he told me. Because I asked him when he was here last year. Y'all remember that? That's what he told me. He give them, these fighters and athletes, recommendations. You know, he diagnosed based on the evaluations of an athlete's blood test results. And most people don't challenge him. The fighters run and call him and go right over there. And they know he's not a doctor. But here it is, the real manager with credentials, speak on a topic that I have expertise in, which is the business of boxing, and I get highly criticized. And so now, in response to all of that in 2025, I'm only going to do two things. Number one, I'm going to ask a question. And I hope those that detract me answer it, finally. Any question I ask. And number two, I'm just going to keep doing what I've been doing, putting evidence up there, giving you food for thought. And that's why I'm glad you are here. So if you're not equipped with utensils, eating utensils, and a plate, I'm going to stop for about 10 seconds. Go hurry up. You got 10 seconds. Go grab you a plate. Because I want to serve you some food. Food for thought. All right, now let's get down to this, because a lot of people didn't want to ask these questions to Alycia Baumgardner. And I like Alycia Baumgardner, I really do, as a person. You know, a lot of these men on YouTube in the comments section, even boxing fans, and I don't know if content creators do it or not, but I know, you know, a lot of men lust after her. They get to panting like a dog when they see her or hear her name. I've met Alycia on many occasions, had a few conversations with her at certain fights, especially when she was in my hometown in Philadelphia. Her former promoter, good man. I know him. Matter of fact, not only do I know him, we cool. Not only are we cool, he was here a year ago And I interviewed him. Most of y'all might not remember. But my point is, that's my guy. So it's not like, I have a beef with Alycia Baumgardner. I don't. We need answers. See, you can't pick and choose when you want to do something righteous. If you're going to be righteous, you have to be righteous all the way. If you're going to be a gangster, you got to be a gangster all the way. That was for Bill Haney and the rest of these guys who portray this image that's destroying the black community. If you want to be an anti-doping advocate, you got to be an anti-doping advocate all the way. You can't show any favoritism. And so I'm not going to show any favoritism. I'm going to speak on this topic like I've been speaking on it for the last year and a half publicly. Now, there's a formula that I use for all my new viewers that don't understand why we're talking about this now. And why we're going to be talking about this all week. I got 4 or 5 other different fighters that we're going to deal with live all week that's suspicious. We're going to talk about it. I'll let you all, the experts, decide whether they're intentionally doping or not. I don't have any credentials in that area. So I can't come out and say who's cheating and who's not and who's doping. I'm not an expert. So I would be just giving an opinion. So all I can tell you is if someone's performance looked enhanced to me, I'm just going to say they're suspicious because that's how I really feel. And that's my viewpoint, But, you can't come out publicly and accuse anyone of using. Here's the thing about that. Let me stop myself. We got to keep it all the way 100 and be real and honest. And if you think somebody's suspicious, say it. Because when everybody else says it, nothing happens to them. You remember when Victor Conte used the 3-fight formula? The same one I adopted from Victor Conte's formula, the expert? When he said on the Boxing Voice, and don't make me play it, I got the audio right here. I already got it queued up for somebody in my chat or my comment section to say they don't remember I'm lying. I got it queued up already. And I can replay it and roll the tape back. Where he talked about Manny Pacquiao's last 3 performances were suspicious. But then he took it a step further and said, not just was it suspicious in his evaluation and observation, but he actually accused Manny Pacquiao of using performance-enhancing drugs, not just in the last 3 fights only, but his whole entire career. I'm just using the 3-fight formula. Me personally, I'm just using the 3-fight formula when I want to evaluate a fighter's performance being enhanced. Now, I'm not taking it a step further like Victor saying someone's on doping. That's what he did, but he get away with stuff like that. I'm just using the same formula he used with the 3 fights. Remember when I brought out the 3-fight formula against Terrence Crawford and the backlash I had to deal with. The 3 fights he was in ever since he was with Victor in the snack protocol. Started with Sean Porter. First fight. Second fight was David Ebenezer. And then, of course, the third fight, at the time that I was bringing this awareness to the public of my, observation, the third fight, of course, was with Errol Spence Jr. And I've done the 3-fight formula with multiple fighters on YouTube. But most people, most notably, give me credence for the 3-fight formula I used for Terrence Crawford. Okay? And we're going to use that same 3-fight formula today with Alycia Baumgardner. Now, y'all know what that means when I wear the hoodie with the hood attached to it, don't you? Good. So, let's start with this. You ain't going to find this nowhere else. That's why I'm glad you're here. Now, we know this. This is not hyperbole. This is not hearsay. This is a fact. Go on and look at your screen. Now, this report in August of 2023 by ESPN writer and staff writer Michael Rothstein. He was one of the first to break the news, and then of course there were other subsequent publications that reported on this. Where undisputed junior lightweight champion Alycia Baumgardner tested positive for 2 banned substances during VADA, which is a voluntary anti-doping test, VADA testing, which led into her July 15 fight against Christina Leonardo. We're going to call her Christina because I don't want to mispronounce her last name accidentally. Matchroom boxing promoter Eddie Hearn is the one who announced that there were the 2 positive tests. Baumgartner, who defeated former champion Christina by unanimous decision in her first defense of her undisputed title, released a statement saying she had tested positive for y'all know I dropped out of college and you know I'm slow. Oh, I play too much, don't I? Mesterolone and methanolone in her pre-fight A sample on July 12th. But her test after the fight, July 15th, and another test, July 16th, both came back clean. Y'all see that, right? Some of y'all remember when this happened in live time, right? Okay, good. Now, some people might ask the question of, a test being positive at first, and then it comes back negative several days or weeks later. So I wanted to point something out that Victor Conti said. He's the expert in all of this, and we have to refer to him. Let's hear what Victor Conti had to say when he referred to Ryan Garcia and Ryan Garcia when Ryan Garcia tested positive for the banned substance ostarine. Let's hear what he had to say about it when he was on TMZ Sports, by the way. Here's Victor Conti.
This test for anabolic steroids, as well as the SARMs and ostarine, is a qualitative test, not a quantitative test. They have something called a mass spectrogram fragmentation pattern. It's like a fingerprint. It either matches or it doesn't. So you're either pregnant or you're not.
Did y'all hear that? That was published by TMZ on May the 3rd, 2024. Now, there are people in the back of the classroom with their head down and they're asleep while the professor is here teaching. So in order for me to capture their attention now, I'm going to play it again. I'm gonna roll the tape back again. I don't want nobody to miss the expert. Don't take my word for it. Roll the tape.
This test for anabolic steroids, as well as the SARMs and ostarine, is a qualitative test, not a quantitative test. They have something called a mass spectrogram fragmentation pattern. It's like a fingerprint. It either matches or it doesn't. So you're either pregnant or you're not.
All right. Mass fragmentation testing is qualitative, not quantitative. It's not about the amount of substance in your system only. It's about the quality. It's like a fingerprint. It's either it matches or it doesn't. It's either you're pregnant or you're not. In other words, it's either the banned substance is in your system or it's not. We have to deal with how it got in your system later on. But as far as the testing is confirmed, it's either in your system or it's not. Now, I do have my reservations about Ryan Garcia's testing. Positive for ostarine. I've already made that public. But we can't deny that according to the test, Ryan Garcia tested positive for a banned substance. And if we're going to hold that theory to Ryan Garcia or any other athlete, we got to hold that same standard to the darling of women's boxing, Alycia Baumgardner. So I know in her statement, she says she don't know how this got in her system. She's a clean athlete. She don't know what happened. She never, the usual. Like I'm sure most other professional athletes and boxers do when they make public statements. Most of the time, 95% of the time, when a test comes back positive for a banned substance, most athletes come out 95% of the time and say, yeah, I tested positive, but I don't know how that got in my system. I never intentionally used A, B, and C. I didn't cheat. I'm not a cheater. I'm a clean athlete, so that's standard. But I have some questions on that. Let's go back to this part right here, because I think a lot of people might miss this part. My 3-fight formula. Look at your screen now. Now, in my 3-fight formula, okay, July 15th, 2023, with Christina. You see it? That's the fight where Alycia Baumgardner tested positive for 2 banned substances. Now, this is the 3-fight formula I'm going to use now. Okay. In my personal observation, I believe that in all 3 fights, Alycia Baumgardner's performance was enhanced. I'll leave it up to the doping experts to prove whether she was doping or not. I'm not an expert. But I can tell you that her performance looked enhanced to me. To me. Doesn't mean she was cheating. Doesn't mean that she's on the juice or doping. I'm not accusing anyone. I'm just telling you what it looked like to me, like I always do. What my observation is. What's up, Andre Noble? I see you, big dog, in the chat. The fight that I want to magnify for you all that looked totally enhanced to me from the jump is the rematch against Michaela, the first fight out of my 3-fight formula that I use. And by the way, I actually called that fight by commentating it on my channel. For some of y'all that don't know that. But the fight with Michaela, I'm talking about this one right here. Now, I always tell y'all that when people that usually don't look a certain way in their style of fighting, when they looked enhanced to me, and this is just my observation, you ain't gonna find this nowhere else. When I look in the first 3 rounds, round 1, round 2, round 3, and they have this excruciating power. When they usually don't have that excruciating power in previous fights, in the first, second, or third round, I start getting suspicious. Some of you already know this. This is no secret. Okay? Now go and look at your screen again. All right? Go on. Look at it. That's the episode of Martin. But yeah, we got to look at that because for those people that might come out and say, "Oh man, Jamarty, she didn't get the knockdown in the third round." You might just be saying that, or you might just be posting this on the screen and stuff like that. I don't know. But let me play the audio from that fight, shall we?
Into a fight with someone who you know has potential knockout power, maybe you think I need to do the same thing.
Her knee nearly touched, and she's down. Knucklehead down here in round 3. That was a strong over the top right hand from Alycia Baumgardner that started all this.
Did y'all hear that? Y'all heard that? Can we get the likes up? Is it possible if I can at least get another donation to help build the channel and to help support the channel, please? I mean, the information that I'm providing is going to get warmer from here. Every time we get support through monetary contributions, the air fryer just warms up. So I want to make sure that you get all of this food that I'm going to serve you hot and ready and well done. But we need contributions to help support the channel now. Now, did y'all hear that? Alycia Baumgardner scored that knockdown in the 3rd round, something that she's had trouble doing for many fights. She's not considered a power puncher by some. But in this fight with McKaylen in the 3rd round, she knocked her down. Now we got to deal with this. I use my 3-fight formula, and this is the first fight where I'm using the 3-fight formula, where I believe her performance was enhanced. Okay? Now, some of y'all don't get mad at me. She got the knockdown in the first 3 rounds. Don't get mad at me. But we got to deal with it. Okay? Got to deal with it now. Double salute to Barbara D. She's a member of the channel, supervisor of the Roll the Tape film crew. Good to see you, Miss Barbara. Now, I know some people don't want to talk about Alycia Baumgardner. Like I told y'all before, some men, particularly on YouTube, they pant after her like a dog. So when she tested positive for them 2 banned substances, some people didn't want to touch on it. And this is water, by the way. Even though it's clear, it's not the clear. It's just clear because that's water is clear. It's not the clear. The clear, the water. Now, we're going to touch on it. The air fryer is stale right now because let me see if we got some more contributions. Oh, we need some more contributions. The air fryer needs to get warmer and warmer in water. Warmer and warmer and warmer. Then it's going to evaporate all this steam and smoke that's going to come your way. Then it gets hot, and then the show is over. But we need support for the channel. I'm telling y'all right now, this ain't over. I got some information that I want all of you to be aware of. We need answers. You see, you're not going to find this information nowhere else. That's why I love when y'all come and see me. I love when you come stop by the house because I be wanting to tell y'all certain things. So I'm glad y'all here. Now let's move right along. Now I use my 3-fight formula where Alycia Baumgardner had that excruciating power in the first 3. And she knocked McKaylen down in 3 rounds. Right? Now, I recognize something on Alycia Baumgardner. You're going to see my evaluation of this same recognition on other fighters all week long. If you're just joining us live, don't move, don't leave, stay right here, because when we come back all week, we got other fighters that I'm going to deal with that's suspicious, and I'm going to touch on something that they all have in common. Let's start with Alycia Baumgardner in that fight with Kit McKaylee, where she scored that third round knockdown, and of course we know she won that fight. When she was in her post fight interview, okay, I noticed something on Alycia Baumgardner that I didn't see in a lot of previous fights before that. I thought I saw it in one fight before that, but I wasn't sure. But in the fight where she fought Michaela, the fight before, let me be clear, let me put the box rack up so people don't miss where we at. Y'all just got here, some of y'all. Y'all late to class. Come on in, hurry up, grab your plate. Take your seat. I got some food. Food for thought. I want to serve you. Now, remember the article and the test results that became public that Alycia Baumgardner tested positive for, them two substances. Look on your screen. It's for the second fight that you see on your screen, the one in the middle with Christina, right? On July 15th. That's the fight where she tested positive for those two banned substances, okay? But the fight that we're outlining right now in my 3-fight formula is the Michaela fight. The first one, you see it on your screen? Go all the way down to the bottom. The first one, all the way at the bottom of your screen. That's the fight that I'm going to start with the enhancement. I believe that when I say enhancement, I'm talking about her performance. I didn't say drugs. Vada Test said drugs. I said performance enhancing. Her performance was definitely enhanced in that first fight, where she scored that third round knockdown. Now, I had a question on that. I definitely had a question on that. I hope one day we can get an answer, because in a post-fight interview that Alycia Baumgardner did, and you ain't going to find this nowhere else. That's why I'm glad y'all here again. I noticed something on her. Go on and look at your screen. Please don't say this is Photoshop, because I'm not graphically inclined. And I think I have the worst thumbnails on YouTube, by the way. I try myself. I try the best I can. So no, I didn't alter this. This is not Photoshop or anything like that, but I circled it so y'all can see. I was just curious to how these bumps was on her face. I've never really seen too many bumps on her face in the past. I just trying to figure out what happened. That's just all the question I have. In that post-fight interview, in that Michaela fight, when she knocked that girl down in the third round, and she won by unanimous decision. I'm just trying to figure out them bumps on her face. I don't know. This the second view of it in that post-fight. She was still in the ring. This is directly after the fight. I was just trying to figure out how that get there. I mean, that's all. I was just trying to ask a question. That's all. Double salute to my guy, Crispy Chris. Thank you for the super chat and your contribution and your support to the channel. Crispy Chris says in the super chat, salute Marty, showing love from Antarctica. My guy, my man. Always a pleasure, man, to see you, Crispy Chris. Crispy Chris been rocking with me from day one. Double salute to my guy. He's a member of the channel, supervisor of the Roll the Tape film crew. Jay Sir, my main man, pots and pans, Jay Sir. Good to see you, man. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, what is that? Them bumps. I'm just trying to figure out. You know, I don't ask a lot of questions, but I definitely gonna ask one. I promise you I'm gonna let y'all go after this. I got one more point since we did get another super chat supporting the channel. I was just trying to figure out in that fight, she, you know, like I said, her performance definitely was enhanced. I mean, she did a tremendous job, something that we've never seen her do in a while, where she, you know, knocked somebody down in the third. And I also had to point this out, because this is as equally as important. In the first fight between Michaela and Alycia Baumgardner, it was a very, very razor-thin close fight. And in this fight, this was a rematch. And Lucky McKinnell is here. And Lucky McKinnell Lucky will tell you, I observe how fighters look in rematches when they look suspicious to me. Lucky knows that. And tomorrow when we talk about David Benavidez, I'm going to spotlight that. But to me, Alycia Baumgardner looked different in this rematch compared to the first fight. But I'm just trying to figure out them bumps on her face. All right, I'm going to leave that alone. Because in the fight where she tested positive for the banned substance, that fight against Christina, that's where all the controversy, started. Okay? Now somebody on the screen, and I have to point this out. Point this out right there. Okay. Let me put this. No, I gotta point this comment out. WMS 702. He says scrutinizing the girl's acne. That is horrible. Well, hold on. I gotta show my face for this. Please, y'all. Hey, WMS. And I know, let me put this comment back on the screen. WMS, and I know you be in my comment section and you be in the chat, and sometimes you don't say things that are favorable towards me, and I appreciate your feedback, and I'm glad that you're here. But WMS, I'm not a medical doctor. You know what I mean? I can't diagnose anyone. You said it was acne. I didn't say acne. You said I'm scrutinizing her acne. Brother, I don't know what, that's why that's the whole thing. I'm not assuming, I'm asking what is that? I'm only asking because it just popped up I didn't really see it 2 years ago when her physique start changing. I'll get to that in another day, but I'm just saying when I start noticing certain changes, I didn't see that before. So I'm asking, what is it? Because I noticed it in the fight where she knocked that girl down in that third round. I don't know what it is. That's why I'm asking. Now, if it's acne, I mean, I would hope it's not. Me personally, I would rather her come out and say that, she was using some Bath and Body Works or Victoria's Secret mist and she broke out, or some lotion that she put on her, Vaseline or something that she put. I would hope she wouldn't use the word acne, because we know that side effects. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna go on, because see now, WMS, all I'm saying is I don't know if that's acne, brother. I don't know. But if it is, I would recommend her not publicizing that, because when you say acne and then when you fail a PED test, just that marriage alone, just them two going hand in hand publicly, that don't sound right. So I don't want to say it's acne. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I'm not a medical personnel. You know what I mean? I don't know anything about the medical field. I'm just that's why I'm asking. What is that? Because it just popped up. I didn't, notice it a couple years ago. That's all I'm saying, WMS. I'm not criticizing you. And I appreciate your feedback as always, man. I just don't know what it is. Yeah. Yeah, that's all. We got another super chat, and I have to read it. Double salute to my guy, Jay Sir. He's a member of the channel. Y'all already know that. I told y'all he's a supervisor of the Roll to Take film crew. And he gave a great super chat, man. Jay Sir says in the super chat, "Hey Marty, you don't have to say it, but I will. I believe they are cheating." And that's from my guy, Jay Sir, and everybody's perspective is welcome on this channel, whether I agree or disagree, and whether you, the audience, agree or disagree. I open my platform for it all. And that was Jay Sir's opinion, and that's what he believed. And please don't criticize him. He's the supervisor of the Roll to Take film crew member. Now, all I'm saying is that the bumps that was on her face, I don't know what they are. You know what I mean? And also, because we got my homegirl in the building, my homegirl Dory, she's here. We miss you, Dory. Good to see you, sweetheart, as always. We got Dory in the building. Dory, I'm glad you brought that up, because I was literally about to play that interview. And that is the interview. Where you see it on your screen? Yeah, that's it. Where she said, I'm going to actually play it, because it's amazing to me how she said that. That was also suspicious to me when her interview is. Hold on. This is the interview that rubbed me the wrong way, personally speaking, but professionally speaking, I was highly even more suspicious after watching what I watched, and I was commentating on the fight live and living color on this channel when she fought Michaela knocked her down in the third round in their rematch, where she looked extremely different than she did in the first fight with Michaela. And here's the post-fight interview. Here's a snippet of it. Don't take my word for it. Roll the tape.
Alycia, congratulations. You are now the undisputed champion at 130 pounds. You could see you close your eyes when they made that announcement. What was going through your mind?
Yes, I just first want to thank my Lord Jesus Christ for getting me here. Yes, yes. The process has been great. I worked my ass off to get here. I showed discipline, grit, hard work. You know, I had to fight who I had to fight, and I got here, and I came out successful.
What did you think of your performance in this fight?
It was great. You know, I dug deep. Listen, I started my period today, so that should tell you. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. That should...
All right, I've heard enough. I'm gonna tell you why that sounded suspicious to me. Because the last time I checked, and you know, I'm a man. You know, I don't know too much about the female reproductive system. But I thought the last time and I do have a lot of children, and most of y'all don't know that about me, and that's okay. But the thing is, the last time I checked, because I was married at one point in time in my life as a younger man. The last time I checked, I thought naturally, now you know things happen. I'm not a medical physician. I'm not an OBGYN. I'm not clinically proven. I'm none of that. I just figured the last time I checked, naturally speaking, I'm talking about natural, like the natural progression of a woman or a female rather developing. I thought females usually, you know, go through menstrual cycles monthly. So I was just trying to figure out why was that important for her to bring it up as if it was some sort of surprise. In other words, it's like everything was natural. Your menstrual went on a month before that, and possibly the month before that. And so when I heard her say that, I was like, why is she bringing that up publicly? I've never heard a woman bring that up publicly. Not even in sports or outside of sports, I haven't heard a woman ever. And the way that she said it, it made me think that it was some kind of surprise or something. Now, when that positive test that came back 5 months after she said all that, I was like, I don't know if there was some delays. I know before when Kelly White tested positive and she was rolling with Victor Conte. I'm talking about Kelly White. Y'all remember that back in the day? Okay, some of y'all might not remember the Balco scandal, but I told you I did 15 years of research on this. Kelly White talked about some abnormalities through her menstrual cycle, having sometimes been delayed for long periods of times when she was juicing on PEDs. And she said other times, this is what Kelly White said, other times it would be extremely too frequent, like weekly. It was imbalanced. You know what I mean? So when Alycia tested positive for the banned substance 5 months later, after she said those words, after that same fight, where I believe her performance was enhanced, I'm like, that just raised or aroused more suspicion to me because she publicized that. That's all. I'm just like, why you even, okay, your period is on. That had nothing to do with the question that was asked of you. I mean, I guess she was trying to say that women can accomplish, I don't know, but I mean, you already had several belts before this fight. He's already a world champion, so we know what women can accomplish in sports and in boxing. I was just trying to figure out. Anyway, yeah. Now for the grand finale, I gave you the appetizer. I gave you the bread and water first. Then I gave you the appetizer. And now it's time for the entree. I'm going to play a clip for y'all. And when I play this clip for y'all, y'all going to understand why I said in this title that Alycia Baumgardner is suspicious. And let me first say this before I drive this point home and stop this express train. That Alycia Baumgardner was cleared by a sanctioning body because of the two failed tests. Not the first, she failed two. Well, she failed one for two substances. But ironically, the next two, she passed those two. And the WBC said that I guess they conducted an investigation, and I guess she has been proven clear. We still haven't heard any statements from Alycia Baumgardner even after she was quote unquote cleared. How did it get in your system? Because according to Victor Conti, it's either you're pregnant or you're not. So we know that those two substances were in her system. And we have yet to hear. We're in 2025 now. We have yet to hear how did it get there. Okay? Now, with that being said, this train has now transitioned from the express, and we're going to start making all local stops. I want to go back to this article right here. I circled it for you so that you don't have to do the painstaking investigation and research that I've conducted. Do y'all see this circled on your screen? Methanolone. Y'all see that? It's circled. That is what Alycia Baumgardner tested positive for right there. You see it? I circled it. Now, the reason why this is significant is because when you go back and listen to the Netflix documentary, and I'm going to pull up the excerpt, Untold Hall of Shame, that chronicled Victor Conti and his story and the background of Balco and etc. A lot of you might have missed this because this documentary was published around the same month that these test results came out about Alycia Baumgardner in August of 2023. But there were some things that was mentioned in here, and I wanted to point it out. And right before I let y'all go, here's the entree of why I say Alycia Baumgardner is suspicious. And we're still trying to figure out and wait for the response to how methanolone entered her system. Hold on one second. All right, I want everybody to please focus in. If you can, you might be driving, you might be shoveling snow, listening to this podcast. You might be in the house, moving around, and you can't see your screen. You might be at work, and you can't see your screen. But hopefully you can hear this. And I'm still going to put it on the screen. You can come back and watch the live again. Bam! Look at your screen. And let's hear what was said in the Netflix documentary that was actually on the screen of the Netflix documentary, which is on my screen right now that you can see. It was on the same screen here that was published by Netflix by the investigator, Jeff Novitzky. Don't take my word for it. Roll the tape.
Never gave Barry Bonds the cream or the clear. He can't give you one shred of evidence linking me to having anything to do with giving Barry Bonds steroids. If he's got it, where is it?
Barry Bonds was consistently providing urine and blood samples to Balco. I have those records, and they showed he was testing positive for things like methanolone, high-level anabolic steroid, nandrolone. So there is no doubt he knowingly used performance-enhancing drugs and used a lot of them for a several-year period that assisted him in achieving these hallowed records in sports. Without it.
All right. Let me show my face so the people can see what's going on. Did y'all hear that? Testing 1 2 1 2. Hello? Let me see my lavaliers working. Hello? Audio. Mayday. Omaha. Testing 1 2 1 2. Can y'all hear me? Omaha. Did y'all hear that audio? I'm gonna run it. Just the last 10 seconds. I'm gonna run it back real quick because I heard Barry Bonds' name. I'm gonna play it one more time. Oh, put this on your screen. Bam. Make sure we heard that correctly. All right, let's hear that again.
Barry Bonds was consistently providing urine and blood samples to Balco. I have those records, and they showed he was testing positive for things like methanolone, high-level anabolic steroid, nandrolone. So there is no doubt he knowingly used performance-enhancing drugs and used a lot of them for a several-year period that assisted him in achieving these hallowed records in sports.
All right, now methanolone. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Hey, y'all seen the records from the Balco scandal investigation by the FBI. You've seen it on your screen just now, where Barry Bonds tested positive for it. Methanolone. Huh? Methanolone. Hey, Dory, there's a join button. Is how do I pay for the membership? There's a join button. Dory, there's a join button that should be on your screen. Not here, but like it should be where it says subscribe at. It should be a join button that says it should be a button that says join on your screen, Dory. If it's not, I'm gonna put the link. I'm gonna try to see if I can put the link. I don't think I can put it. I'm gonna try to put the link. Well, I am gonna put the link in the description. So when this live go off, I'm gonna go right in, put the link to join the membership in the description, and you just click on it, okay? There should be a join button somewhere. But I don't want y'all to miss this. Did y'all hear that? And thank you again for your support, Dory. I appreciate you, sweetheart. Did y'all hear that? Methanolone. That what Barry Bonds tested positive for when Victor Conti was allowing him to send in his urine. To take his blood from Barry Bonds when Victor was taking his blood and getting samples of his urine. And they tested it at Quest Diagnostics under the facilitation of Victor Conti during the Balco scandal. Methanolone. That what Barry Bonds tested positive for. The FBI already investigated, and they have all the records that they confiscated from Victor Conti through subpoenas. And here it is on your screen if you missed it. I circled it for you so that you don't have to do all the painstaking investigation. Methanolone. That's Barry Bonds' name, where it say Barry B on the left side of your screen. 5 days on and 17 days off and all that. Yeah, that's when he was doping with. Yeah, we know. But methanolone. Here's a much closer version of that picture. I circled this too. Methanolone. Huh? That what Barry Bonds test positive for. Banned substance. Methanolone. And now look at your screen again. That's one of the same substances that Alycia Baumgardner tested positive for in 2023. Methanolone. My goodness. My goodness. My question is, how did it get in her system? We're still waiting for an answer on that. Methanolone. I circled it. There it is on your screen. Methanolone, right there in that article. That's what she tested positive for. Methanolone. Barry Bonds tested positive for it too, 20 years ago. You see that? 20 years before Alycia Baumgardner tested positive for it, Barry Bonds did. Y'all see that?
Barry Bonds was consistently providing urine and blood samples to Balco. I have those records, and they showed he was testing positive for things like methanolone, high-level anabolic steroid, nandrolone. So there is no doubt he knowingly used performance-enhancing drugs and used a lot of them for a several-year period that assisted him in achieving these hallowed records in sports, without a doubt.
Now, don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me, some of y'all. These are the facts. The fact of the matter is that Alycia Baumgardner tested positive for methanolone, something that Barry Bonds tested positive for 20 years prior during the Balco days. And you really can't get mad at me because Victor Conti done told you. He's the expert. He's the expert. We got to go by what the expert tells us. And he basically told everybody on TMZ Sports, it's either you pregnant or you're not. We have to deal with how it got in your system later. But nobody can say it's not here if your test is positive, right? That's what, when Ryan Garcia had to go through all this, I don't know.
And you may have even had negative tests during training camp, but at some point in time, there was exposure. Now, there may not have been intent to cheat. We don't know this, but I keep hearing, it was in tiny concentrations. Let me explain something. This test for anabolic steroids, as well as the SARMs and Osterine, is a qualitative test, not a quantitative test. They have something called a mass spectrogram fragmentation pattern. It's like a fingerprint. It either matches or it doesn't. So you're either pregnant or you're not.
That's from the expert. That's when he was talking about Ryan Garcia testing with Osterine. So it was either Alycia Baumgardner's pregnant or she's not. It's either her positive test was real or wasn't. It's either she tested positive for methanolone or she didn't. Now, we're still waiting after a year and some change now, a year and a half now, for the accountability of how it got in her system. We need answers. Hey, it's the same performance enhancement drug, methanolone, that Barry Bonds tested positive for 20 years prior. Well, that's my time. I appreciate your support. I appreciate y'all watching Live and Live. And listen now, Live and Live Color. Come back tomorrow. We got some questions about David Benavidez. So come back tomorrow. I just have a few questions for David. And I still have one question, just one, for Alycia Baumgardner. Come back tomorrow, same time. We need answers.